All right, welcome to Unit 9, Day 3 Forms Review. So, this is putting it all together, all three forms, and I really want to stress that standard form gives you the y-intercept, vertex form gives you the vertex h comma k, remember it's the opposite sign of the inside, and factored form gives you the roots or the zeros, remember it's always the opposite sign, so it's root 1 comma 0, that's how we write it. Again, it just gives you the x-intercept. So we're going to put it all together, and we're going to start with intercept form. So intercept form is actually beneficial. It not only gives you the x-intercepts quickly, it can also give you the vertex and the y-intercept. So the x-intercepts are the easiest. It's the opposite sign, so it's 2 comma 0. And the next one is at 6 comma 0. And the graph is going to be your friend on these. So I'm going to go to my graph, and I'm going to plot them. I got 2 comma 0 and 6, 0. Now, to find the y-intercept, remember, the y-intercept is always when x equals 0. So I'm going to go up to my equation, and all I'm going to do is plug in 0 for x. So it's going to be 0 minus 2 times 0 minus 6, which is really just negative 2 times negative 6. So my x-intercept is going to be at 12. Remember, the x-coordinate's always 0, and all you do is plug in 0 for x. You replace x with 0. In the end, you really just end up multiplying negative 2 times negative 6, which gives you 12. So now I'm going to go to my graph and see that the y-intercept's at 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it's way up there. All right. Now we need to find the axis of symmetry because that's going to help us get our vertex. Remember, the axis of symmetry and the x-coordinate of the vertex are the same. So if I find one, I got the other. So to find the axis of symmetry, it's really just going to be the middle of my zeros. So there's one pair, there's another pair, and I see that the middle is right here. Again, another way to do this is to take 2 plus 6 and add it together and divide by 2. You get the average. 8 divided by 2 gives me 4. Doesn't matter which way you do it. I just tend to do it graphically and just use my fingers and find the middle. And I can quickly see the middle of 2 and 6 is 4. So my axis of symmetry is at 4. Alright, so I got my axis of symmetry, which means the vertex lies somewhere on that line there. I know the x-coordinate of the vertex is 4, so I'm going to take my equation, and all I'm going to do now is replace x with what I know it is. I know the x-coordinate is now 4, so I'm going to write 4 minus 2 and 4 minus 6 instead of x. So that gives me 2 times negative 2, which gives me negative 4. So if I look, my vertex is at 4, negative 4. Which makes sense because my y-intercept's way up there. I'm not going to even try to do that. We saw how bad my graphs were on the last one. That one's not too bad. All right. So what I want you to do now is pause the video and see if you can do this one on your own. Remember, x-intercepts are easy. It's just the opposite signs. Remember, the y-coordinate of every x-intercept is 0. Y-intercepts, the x-coordinate is 0. And remember, the axis of symmetry is just the middle, or it's kind of like finding the median first semester. All right, so try this one on your own. All right, x-intercepts are at negative 1 and negative 3. It's the opposite sign. So I'm going to go to negative 1, negative 3. And the axis of symmetry is easy. It's right in between there, which is at negative 2. The y-intercept is really just like multiplying all of these numbers because you're basically going to plug 0 in for x. So it's really going to be 2 times 0 plus 1 times 0 plus 3, which is really just 2 times 1 times 3. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 3 is 6. So the x-intercept is at 0, 6. Oops, I don't think that's 6. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, the axis of symmetry we already found is right in between negative 3 and negative 1, which is right there at negative 2. The vertex means it has to fall somewhere along there. We know the x-coordinate of the vertex is negative 2. So all I'm going to do is take my equation, 2 times x plus 1 x plus 3. And I'm replacing the x now with the x coordinate, which is negative 2. So it's 2 times, scroll down, negative 1, because negative 2 plus 1 is negative 1, and negative 2 plus 3 is positive 1. These should always match except be the opposite sign, because it's basically the distance from this axis of symmetry. That's a negative 1, that's a positive 1 distance. So 2 times negative 1 is negative 2, times 1 is just negative 2. So my vertex is at negative 2, negative 2. So my parabola is going to look something like, remember there's always a matching point over here, so if I go 2 away on this side, I can get to that matching point. And it looks like a wavy U, but yours should be a nice pretty U because you don't have to use the software. Alright, so what I want you to do now is try this one on your own. I'm going to fill in the answers. You just have to fast forward to it. Oopsie. Remember, x-intercepts, oh crud. Remember, the x-intercepts always have y-coordinates of 0. The y-intercepts always have x-coordinates of 0. It's 2 and negative 4, so you should have gone to your graph at 2 and 1, 2, 3, 4. The y-intercept is really like multiplying 0.5 times negative 2 times 4. Half of 2 is negative 1 times 4 is negative 4. So the y-intercept is at negative 4. 2, 3, 4. Axis of symmetry is directly between those. So directly between negative 4 and positive 2 is, let's see, 2, negative 2 divided 2, negative 1. And again, I would just use my fingers and point to the middle. So I'm going to draw the line at negative 1, and that's in my axis of symmetry. And you can check it's 1, 2, 3 away on this side, 1, 2, 3 away on this side. That means the vertex has to be somewhere along there. So I know the x-coordinate of the vertex is negative 1. Anytime you know x, you're always going to plug it in. So I have y equals 0.5 times negative 1 minus 2 times negative 1 plus 4. So it's 0.5 times negative 3 times positive 3. All right, so it's 0.5 or 1/2 times negative 9. Well, half of negative 9 is negative 4.5. So my vertex is at negative 1, negative 4.5. Oops. Right about there. And remember, there's always that matching point over here. So my parabola looks like that. All right, again, the graph is going to be your friend. Use it.